I'm gonna say this, which is gonna sound like a stupid question because you literally are the one that brought it up. But have you like tried to watch TV recently?
The lore is they found the vaccine for the first version of the zombie virus, and it worked.
I'm glad that you know that my video game escapades have been far more interesting.
Yes, of course.
Escapade, not excapade. What the hell am I saying? Welcome back to Off the Air Podcast, fucking hell.
The podcast.
You do an intro. You do an intro.
Nope, you leave all this in, you coward.
Welcome back to Off the Air Podcast, the podcast where we talk about video games when Jackson isn't here. I'm your host Noah, and with me today is my co-host Dan. And here's the thing. I personally, this is gonna totally derail from the conversation that I just set up. But bear with me. I hate when people call themselves a co-host of the podcast. I hate that.
Why is that?
I'm the host
Why?
and you're my co-host. And if you were saying it, you're the host and I'm your co-host. Because we are all equal hosts here. It's not like we have host prime and then the sub-hosts.
I don't know. One of us is definitely a beta host. I'm just saying.
You can't say that about Jackson. He's not here. It's very
He's not even here.
But I just really
I get that.
dislike when people like are talking about like my co-hosts and I, totally fine, acceptable, 100% a good thing. I'm a co-host on this podcast. No, shut the fuck up. You're a host on the podcast. Talk about your co-hosts or your fellow hosts if you don't want to make it seem like they are like somehow lower in the hierarchy of hosts. Sure, say my fellow hosts instead of saying my co-hosts. But like, it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I don't know. That's just something that I've been like, I see on Twitter and it drives me up the wall. Mostly because, you know how, big Republican Noah moment. You know how when people sometimes try to sound inclusive and it just makes it stupid?
It makes it much worse and very obvious that they
Yeah.
had to had to really think about it.
Yeah. And it's just like, hey, by trying to be so inclusive, you actually feel exclusive at this point. And it's just, and I can't think of any good examples, but I think like everyone knows like the vibe I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to shit talk being inclusive, but there's like inclusive TM and you know what I mean. But anyway, it's the same vibe when people are like, oh, I co-host this podcast with blank. Just say you host the podcast. I'm sorry that you are so low on the podcast totem pole that you feel like you can't even be a host of your 2-person podcast. Fucking hell.
I mean, I get it, right? I don't have a good counterpoint on that beyond just.
Yeah, then that's fair. It's literally not important.
Noah,
not even a
why
little bit.
Why are you so mad? No,
I'm about to be so
angry.
much angrier. Dan, you have no idea how much angrier I'm about to be about this. Wait until you hear about this new thing I'm mad about called podcasts. Full stop. They spawned co-hosts.
There are too many millennials out here with their podcasts. They're talking on the air. They're talking off the air. Nobody wants to hear it. I don't know what that voice is, but that's where I landed. That's the one I went with.
Yeah, no, that's something.
That was a special gift just for you.
Thanks. I think.
Noah, how do you feel about video games?
I like video games. Thank you for bringing me back on topic.
Have you played a video game in your day?
I have. In fact, I've played a couple recently.
Noah, what
about you?
I'll bite. No. I've been doing nothing important for video games lately. What have you been doing in video games lately?
I'm glad that you know that my video game escapades have been far more interesting.
Yes, of course.
Escapade, not excapade. What the hell am I saying? Escapade, not excapade. Escapade. My video game escapades. Anyway, I've been trying to play some more games on stream recently that aren't just Binding of Isaac, because I'm smarter than that, one might think. So I was flipping through some stuff and I'm like, you know what I haven't played in a long time? Civ. And while I was downloading Civ, I'm like, you know what? Getting away from this from like roguelites has been actually really nice.
Yeah.
So I decided to download another thing that's exactly like Civ and download Shadow of Mordor. Because I'm like, hey, why not? Why not? Because I remember liking it well enough. And I'm like, you know what? Rather than play Shadow of Mordor, I should play Shadow of War. Because I've never played that one, and it's the sequel. And Dan, let me tell you, it's so good. I decided to download Shadow of Mordor and try and because you can take your biggest ally and your biggest nemesis into the second game, in theory. Unfortunately, that did not happen. It did not import my characters properly.
Understandable.
So that blows. I played through the entirety of Shadow of Mordor for no good reason. But I'm back into Shadow of War now, and man, let me tell you about God's perfect game. It's not this, but this is close enough for me to say that.
I'm honestly very glad because I love Shadow of War. I love that game.
Man, nothing is gonna be more fun than killing the same orc for the 4th time because he just will not fucking die. And then in the middle of me finally finishing him off thinking, there's no way he can come back from this, I fucking cut his head off. A troll comes up behind me, grabs me, and screams in my face saying that now it's my turn to die. And suddenly there's another fucking captain here that I have to fight. I love that. There's nothing will give me the same level of amusement as minding my business and then I hear, yo, 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 you know, the big echo. And then the same orc that I've killed multiple times is suddenly on the edge of the battle where I'm already like, I'm a little overwhelmed right now. I got to finish these guys off so I can run. And it's like, oh, you again?
Yeah, dude.
Why are you back? The Nemesis system is so good. And I remember it being talked up when it was coming out, right? I remember it being a huge thing. But you know what? It's way better than I thought it would be.
Well, and that's the thing about it, right? Is I think the special thing about Shadow of War is that, like, on its surface, right, it is really just Assassin's Creed Lord of the Rings. Like, it really, really, really is. And then you go a tiny bit deeper, and there's some really fucking cool mechanics that only work in this setting that they've given us, right? Like, the Nemesis system and, like, the take over the Nemesis and, like, work your way, like, take out key targets so that your guy keeps making his way up the, like, ranking is such a unique, fascinating, like, mechanic that I cannot think of anything else that does it quite the same way.
It's just really fun seeing everything happen the way it does. You know?
Yeah, and you kind of are like, you kind of can make a like a broad stroke. Well, if I take out these 3 key characters, then these 3 people will move up. But if I take out these 2, then only this guy has the chance to move up, and he's the one that I can take over because he's a low enough level. And it's very, very satisfying, 110%, and I do love it very much. I have, I think, 40 hours in the game, something like.
Yeah, right now I have what is it, like 15 hours in,
it's so good.
I had decided I was gonna try and play the whole story on stream. I'm trying to like not play it on my own, but you know, in the process of quote unquote catching up, I have definitely jumped a little ahead of where I had been before I stopped playing 2 and went and played 1 to take into 2. You know,
that makes sense.
But disrespectfully to the original, Arc 1 of this game literally took me as much time as the entire playthrough of Shadow of Mordor. Yeah, Shadow of Mordor, I finished in 13 hours.
Yep, I have 13.4, and I was gonna say that's how long it took me to beat the game.
And it took me 23 hours my first time playing through. And I think I probably played on the side a lot and just didn't register it, you know? But come on. Yeah. I don't know how I put 23 hours into a single save file of that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Like, the first one is good, like, don't get me wrong, but when you go from the second to the first one, it really does just completely blow it out of the water. I enjoyed it a lot. I really do. I don't think we'll ever get a third one.
No, well, I mean, not knowing how the second one ends, I guess I can't say that. But the first one, it ends so fucking terribly.
It's like how the first one ends either.
So Act 1, you kill one of the big captains. Act 2, you kill another big captain. And in Act 3, you get ambushed by 3 war chiefs on your way to fight the Hand, or whatever his name was.
Oh, that's right.
And then the Hand dies in... It wasn't even a quick time event. It was a cutscene.
Yeah.
And you just get, oh, you can't let go yet. It's time to make sure everybody dies. And we beat Sauron. And then the game ends on that really dumb little cliffhanger. And then you go into the next game. And it's like, hey, remember everything you did? Yeah, never mind. Also, you have a ring now.
Matter.
LOL, never mind. And it's like, why? Why do I have a ring now? How did this happen? Why did this happen? None of this makes sense. But once you get past that, you know, you're good to go.
I'm trying to remember how the fuck war ends. I might not have actually finished Shadow of War.
Really?
I don't, because I'm glancing through and I'm like, and people are talking, there's like a specific thing that you have to do. Jesus Christ. No way.
What?
So, I don't want to spoil it. Uh,
Oh, the ending of it.
yeah. Oh, I do remember how this ends. Okay. There's there's a really cool da-da, da-da. Give me 2 seconds. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Never mind. I actually really do I remember the ending of it. It's really cool. Never mind. I'm not gonna talk about it
Oh,
then.
thank goodness.
Yeah, no, I actually there's some parts of it that are kind of dumb, but other parts that are very, very, very cool. But yeah, it feels good. The game feels really good and it holds up really well. I haven't played it in like a year or so now, but I have to imagine that it when was last time. Yeah, I
Yeah,
actually full
the
disclosure, I just
movement is really
restarted the
good.
download in the background because I'm like, damn, I do like this game very much.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because it's so good.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's
the
just
movement is
good.
really clean. I like the fact that they added like speed boosts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just so that you can navigate the world, because that was something that really pissed me off after a little while, was the
Mm-hmm.
realization that it's like, hey, why exactly is my movement around this world so god awful?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
realized, oh, I understand why. It's because I'm so slow and the map is just a little too big.
It's a little too big. This is a big map.
But yeah, this one even bigger, but they gave you a little speed boost so you can navigate everything pretty quickly. And oh my gosh, the jumping climbing mechanic where you can climb up
Mm-hmm.
things faster. It's just an all-out improvement on the first game. And all that to say, I heavily recommend people who are interested in playing the game just check out the second one and not the first one.
You are missing nothing if you skip on the first one. Nothing.
Yep. You get most of the story recap. The only thing that you miss is like relationship points with side characters that are not brought into the second game.
Yeah, you're literally missing nothing. I mean, technically, you're missing like the very beginning of the first game, like the very beginning, like the oh, how did we get here? But even that, I think, is done via cutscene in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very, very cool. Uh, I man, I hope we get. Makes me want to go play Assassin's Creed again. I re-downloaded one of them, and I'm like, not Unity. I re-downloaded one of them because everyone was like, "Damn, this one actually low key slapped. Why did we not know it at the time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because you were all so mad about wasn't Ezio, you big
Mm-hmm.
babies."
I wonder if I have any of these Assassin's Creed games. Maybe I'll play. Oh, I only have Brotherhood.
You didn't pick them up when they were giving them out for Notre Dame.
No, I didn't
Oh, I
want to
picked them
play
up.
that one.
I mean, that's fair. They had a massive sale going on around the same time where all you can get all of them for like $60
That's not too bad.
or $100, something ridiculous. I bought them all. My point is, I own all of them.
Nice. Yeah,
Uh,
I've been low key picking out like what games I'm gonna load in next, because I think playing a variety of games has been good for my enjoyment of streaming versus playing one specific game constantly.
I mean
So I'm
that
probably
is
going to
true.
try and cycle a little
Imagine,
better.
imagine if only we knew somebody else who had that exact same experience.
Are you saying that Jackson burned out on Pokemon games, or are you talking about like
I'm
variety
saying that Jackson
streamers
burned
as a
out on Pokemon
concept?
games. I'm saying
Jackson burned out on
games.
Pokemon Community. He still loves Pokemon games.
That's fair, but I think that the streaming of it is part of the problem, right?
Oh, maybe.
Anyway,
But what about you, Dan? I know that you don't play games much, but when
no,
you
I don't do
do,
any
you
games.
play 28 hours in 3 days.
28 hours in 3 days, dude. I'm so tired. I keep expecting like to feel more burned out, but then every time I feel like a little bit burned, I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna do cool things. So yeah, I've been doing Dying Light 2. We've been doing the Dying Light 2 stream marathon. We are halfway through it, and by the time this comes out, it will be done and over, done and buried.
Nice.
It's just so good. It's just so good. Everything Dying Light 1 did, it is doing better. The combat feels better. There's a lot more animations. The parkour feels smoother. Every single thing that Dying Light 1 does, this does better. The characters are more interesting pretty much across the board, even if some of them are the worst and some of them are just phenomenal. Anyone who says your choices don't matter, unless they have massive like shoehorning to make certain parts of the game fit with other certain parts of the game, I don't think that's true. I can see
Mhm.
how the flavor around certain quests would change, but like that is the like it's almost like that is kind of the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of like, oh well, nothing changes. Well, but that's not true. If you pick one faction over the other, like there's an entire like some things that have happened. I don't know how they would have happened if you hadn't taken that like pick that faction. Um,
Mhm.
Rosario Dawson's in it, which is fun. She's great. Fucking big grace of the game. Right now, it's a buggy mess. Don't get it on release. Don't get it right now. Don't get it till probably the first major DLC update drops. The
Mhm.
reason simple being is that while I've heard that the single player is much, 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 much more stable now, if you're doing co-op, which is frankly, in my opinion, the way the game is meant to be played, uh, there are bugs. There's a car bomb mechanic where you can make a car horn go off and then zombies wander over and then the car explodes. If you
Yeah.
try to activate a car bomb in co-op, the whole game crashes. Full stop.
Oh,
Yeah.
yikes!
Um,
That's a correct me
a
if I'm
core game
wrong,
mecha-
Dan. That
a
feels
core
like
game
a core
mechanic.
game mechanic.
100% is. It is the first reward you get for picking one side of the faction like war over the other, and hoo boy, it does not feel good. Same with mines, which are another core game mechanic that you're supposed to be able to throw down mines to blow zombies up. That also
Mhm.
just crashes when you throw them down. We don't know why, but it does. Um,
Damn.
things that are like rewards from one faction party appearing in areas, but only for like a single player out of four. So like one group gets like a lot more like defense and attack stuff, and the other group gets more like traversal stuff. And we picked
Mhm.
the defense and attack group, and I keep seeing like the traversal mechanic stuff around my area, despite the fact that we clearly have not picked that group. Um,
Yikes.
and it works. Like that's the weird thing is that it still works for me. Like it'd be one thing if those were just visual bugs, but they are there as far as the game is concerned. Like I can still interact with them, just other players can't, and vice versa. It's very weird. There's a lot of weird bugs. That said, truly, truly, the gameplay holds up this game in such a unimaginably big way. There's still no greater joy than drop kicking a zombie off the side of a skyscraper and watching it plummet to the ground below. Like truly, that is all I live for. It's that, and I guess spoilers for the game. Jump ahead like 2 minutes, and I'll stop talking about specific spoiler stuff. Uh, there are two mechanics that are just super rad. One is obviously the bow, which appeared in the first game, but has kind of a similar mechanic. They
Mhm.
changed a couple of things, but for the most part, explosion arrows are still the best thing in the world, and they are very funny to use at all times. Because you shoot them and then your friends die 100% of the time. Just it's a lot of damage, and then they fall down. Um, and the other one that I'm really hoping we're gonna get to it today. Today is a Sunday. We're recording this. Is the grappling hook. The grappling hook in the first game was essentially like a zip to point, right? You shoot at a wall, you get pulled up to the wall. The grappling
Yeah.
hook in this one, it's the only piece of equipment that got spoiled for myself. It works more like a fucking Spider-Man swing,
Oh, that's
and
fun.
oh, dude, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. That's the other thing this game does really well. Kind of okay, pulling back from spoiler territory. Um, it's vertical. The first game had a real problem where like because of the restrictions of the engine and the game itself, mostly it was like 2, 3, maybe 4-story buildings, right? Um,
Mhm.
kind of a it was in Haran, which is like I don't remember where Haran is supposed to be. Haran is based on Istanbul, so it's kind of in that area. Um, yeah, it's supposed to be Turkey. So it's kind of like a lot shorter buildings. Nothing like there are a couple skyscrapers, but like most of the city is like 2, 3-story buildings. In like a very I guess Turkish style. I don't know what like region you would even call Turkey, like Middle Eastern European. Uh,
Mhm.
and then the second one takes that, and I
Mediterranean,
believe
I believe is what you're looking
Mediterranean.
for.
Thank you. That is a good word for the word that I was looking for.
Happy to help.
Dying Light 2 takes place in Villador City, which is a fictional European city. And because of that, and because of like the kind of the story they're trying to tell, the center city part of the game is huge and has like skyscrapers and shit that you can parkour through. And not every window is broken open that you can run through the building, but a surprising number of just random rooms in buildings are broken open, and there's just zombies and loot chilling in there. You can just, oh, I want to go in this room. Boom, random shit, and it feels so good. Um, and even like in the starting area, it's very much closer to like a very built up old town where like it's still a little
Mhm.
on the older side, and it's like a little more there's a little bit of slum stuff going on, but for the most part, like everything is gonna be just bigger and taller. And since it's European, it feels also very old in a lot of ways. The game takes place 15 years after the original, which is very cool. Uh, the lore is they found the vaccine for the first version of the zombie virus, and it worked. And then the evil villain corporation that couldn't stop being evil kept doing research on the virus, and it broke out again and ruined everything.
I love
Uh,
that.
I also love that very much. I think it's very funny and somehow very appropriate to like the way that they portray it's the GRE.
Mhm.
They portray the GRE in the first game of they found the vaccine, but they still wanted to make it a weapon, so they kept working on it, and then it broke out, and everyone died. And it's just good. It's just really really good. I really like without going in like deep into spoiler territory. It's just so good. It's just
Mhm.
so good, and I'm so happy with it. I mean, I played 26 hours in 3 days. Really, 26 hours in like 2.5 days because the first day didn't start till 7 p.m. Uh, yeah, Dying Light 2 is just very good. Wait till it comes. For single player, I would probably say just buy it now. If you're like, I want to play with friends, I would say get it for all your friends, but wait for the bugs to be fixed because it really is a bit of a mess in
Mhm.
that regard. Um, Still fucking gonna keep playing it though. I'm gonna finish it up probably in the next 2 days. That's the goal tonight and tomorrow. It's so good. There are other
Nice.
games coming out this year though.
Are there?
There are so many. There's actually a boatload of games coming out this year. At
Damn.
least, and like I feel like specifically in like the February March area, right? And part of that is because that's where we are right now. So like things are like obviously all announced and like locked in at this point. But like in
Mhm.
February, you've got new Dynasty Warriors coming out. Fucking what else? A bunch of Kingdom Hearts stuff is coming out on the Switch. We've got Dying Light obviously just came out. Life is Strange Remastered just came out. Horizon Forbidden West is coming up in like 2 weeks. The new Total War Warhammer is coming out in like also 2 weeks, I think the day before. Elden Ring comes out at
Mm.
the end of the month. Did we talk about Elden Ring last week? I feel like we did.
Oh, we did. That's when I learned that it was a Souls game.
Yeah. So we talked about Elden Ring a little bit. We've also got like I said, Horizon and the new Total War, which looks phenomenal. Next month we've got Shadow Warrior coming out. We've got uh I think we're getting a new Kirby game, if I remember correctly.
A new Kirby?
I think
No.
so.
You're lying to me.
Yeah, Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Oh, that's tight.
I'm very excited. Oh, Pokemon Legends just came out, which from everything I hear is really good, if not very well. Like, how do I say this? Not very well visually. Like it kind of sucks as far as like
It's a little ugly.
it's a little ugly. This is actually I'm gonna go so far as to say I think it's kind of a lot ugly.
A lot ugly. Oh no.
Yeah,
Not a lot
it's not
ugly.
great.
Please
Yeah,
tell me.
it's not great. Weird West is coming out, which is I believe is a who's making that? Uh, Devolver's publishing it. It's a new Devolver game's coming out. It's fucking a Western RPG fantasy thing going on. It's just a good month for gaming, and my wallet can't handle it. My wallet is not doing great. Oh, in April we've got the complete Skywalker saga for Lego Star Wars coming out, and
Mhm.
I'm so happy. I'm very happy, and my wallet is not, but that's okay. No, have you played a Lego game in a while?
I haven't, honestly. I did
So I
hear
haven't.
that they added voice acting to them, and I haven't played since before that.
So I have
So,
played a little bit since that, and it's weird. I won't lie to you. It's weird to have
okay.
voice acting. However,
I
something
really love the Batman ones where you just get
well, that's exactly
it
it,
was
right?
kind
I
of
think
neat.
there's yeah, and they did that with the old Indiana Jones ones, which is one I played through, and then the original Lego Star Wars, which I also played through. Now, for the
Mhm.
longest time, people have been like back and forth on, oh man, it's weird to have voices. Can I tell you the best possible feature that they have added to the Lego Star Wars Skywalker saga?
Is it turning off voices?
It's mumble mode,
Mumble mode. Oh,
and
that's good. See, because
it's
that
so good.
it makes sense.
It does. It makes it, and it also for me genuinely is so much of the charm of those games is how much they can express without actually saying anything.
Mhm.
Like that. There's something very fun and silly about that. I wonder, Noah, do you wanna play
Hmm.
Lego Star Wars with me?
Dan, I have terrible news for you. This was the game that we had queued up, and then we forgot, and we played Borderlands 2 instead.
Was it really?
Yeah, we had.
No,
Oh, let me double check which one it was. I think it was
no,
one of the Lego Batman we had downloaded.
no. Was it really?
Yeah.
That's very funny.
I think one of the
No,
big
you.
issues I had was it's not made for mouse. It in
That's
fact handles mouse controls
fair.
very terribly.
That's very fair.
I learned this when
Yeah.
I played 35 minutes of Marvel Superheroes, the Lego one.
Yeah, I did that as well. I
Um,
remember that.
Also, in fairness, that game just might not be good.
That game has a
I
DLC
don't know.
problem that I'm not a huge fan of. I'm pretty sure that one's
Oh
the one that like
no.
half of like literally a massive yeah. to buy the full Lego Marvel collection, it's like 50. After I already have the base game, it's like $50 because there's so many things in the bundle. What do we got? Oh no, that's Marvel and Marvel's Avengers.
Let's
Never
see.
mind. Ignore me. Because it's Marvel Avengers. Marvel's Avengers. Hold on.
Okay, so it's another $7 for the superhero
DLC.
pack DLC.
It's Lego Marvel
Super
Avengers and Marvel Superheroes 2 that have DLC problems. Like those ones have just a mountain of DLC characters. And yeah, they're only like $2 or $3 a pop, but also fuck you.
That is far too much. But no. See, unless they're adding, because $4 a pop isn't that bad.
Yeah.
If they were adding more than just another character skin.
Exactly. Right? If they actually had
but
like
I don't know how much they're actually adding.
Yeah.
And
it's very unclear.
When it comes down to it, the fact that the bundle is 48% off and you're still paying $50, that's insane.
Yeah, it'd be something that I'd be very interested in, like looking at and like getting better reviews on. But like the fact that I look at Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 and I say showing 1 of 11 DLC, add all DLC to cart for $40. I don't want that.
It's so stupid.
I don't want that. Yeah. The base game is, granted, the base game is only $20 though, so like maybe it is worth it. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, at this point in my life, I don't think it is.
No, exactly. Like if it was something that I knew I was going to enjoy, then I would consider it. It is not something I know what I would enjoy, so I don't care. But I would love to do a Lego game playthrough at some point. I think that because I have very, very good memories of that as a kid. It's been a long time. God.
Right.
Yeah, but they're adding. It's supposed to be like the pen because they did Lego Star Wars: The Complete Collection a while ago, but then they kept making Star Wars movies. So we've got Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, and I'm really hoping that this is like. Not the last one necessarily, although I do, you know what, I can't even say that because I really, really like that. I like the idea of being able to do all of them, right? Like, I think that's something very fun. I think it kind of leans into the same thing that like something like Smash Brothers does, right? Where I want to be able to play through like episode 1 as Darth Vader and Kylo Ren. Like because that's silly and fun and stupid and I love it. I want to see what happens when I mash my Lego figures together and they break things. Like that's fun.
There's some. It appeals very much to your inner child to be able to do things with the Lego games.
It's just one of those things that like I hope I can come back to and find it still as enjoyable as it did before.
Honestly, that's part of the reason that I'm almost afraid to get back into the Lego games.
Right? Because what if they're bad?
It's like What if they don't hold up? Because I already know that like Lego Marvel didn't hold up for me, but I mean I never played it. But like because I didn't have a controller to play it with. So now that I have the Steam controller, as long as I have you help me figure out how to download the drivers properly, logic says I'll have fun.
Yeah.
But will I have fun?
Have we talked about what happened to Lego Lord of the Rings?
No. No, what happened with that? Was that canceled or something?
Well, no, it exists.
Does it exist?
It does. Here's the thing. It got hold on. Let me double check.
Here
make
it
sure.
is.
Yeah, so yeah, it was
I'm taking a peek at the game.
WB I believe lost the rights for it. Same with Lego The Hobbit. They lost the rights for it for a little while. And so they were just pulled. Like you had it literally if you had it downloaded, you could play it.
Holy shit.
And they only came back in like in the last year or so. Like they were very quiet. They in March of 2019 they disappeared just completely. All on like the 1st of January. And then
interesting.
Yeah. And then in April that year, the Warner Brothers spokesperson said that they were, they're no longer available for sale. It's interesting that now they're back, which makes me feel like, I mean, of course that the simple answer is they got the rights back, but still super interesting to me. And like such a weird, kind of a sad reminder of like, hey, by the way, we live in an era where you don't own
any of the things that you purchased.
Any of the games that you purchased, you just don't. And that is not cool or good.
No, not at all. In fact,
no, it's really not my thing. I get it, and I understand that like that's just literally just the world we live in now, right? I would love to sit here and pretend like I can just
see, but I can get it while also not getting it at all, though. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
I get that that's where we're at because that's where things have moved over the past few years. However, I despise the fact that everything's a fucking like subscription system now. even the games that I thought I paid for and purchased and finished like all mine, you know? I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that.
But at the moment it is what it is. Uh
Yeah, I mean, well, and it's one of those things that like I feel like for a while I really did try to resist it, right? I tried to resist games as subscription services or games as a platform like specific thing that you could do. I just feel like at this point it's really not it's not feasible, right? It's impossible to do. Like I have Game Pass now. It's like it's almost like trying to interact with a lot of media these days without owning any subscription platform, right? Without owning a Netflix or an Amazon Prime or whatever. Technically possible, really fucking difficult to do.
it really is.
Even
Incredibly
if you engage
frustratingly
with
so.
like television, it's really fucking difficult to do.
I mean, I'm gonna say this, which is gonna sound like a stupid question because you literally are the one that brought it up. But have you like tried to watch TV recently? It's fucking
I have not.
insufferable.
Yeah,
Oh,
I haven't been.
no,
I
it's
don't own cable. I haven't owned cable in years.
yeah, it's fucking awful, dude. Like you get so used to just existing and enjoying ad-free content
Hmm.
that like and you already know that the people that like we every subscription service and YouTube and everything, they're operating at a loss somehow. They are not making
Hmm.
money. I don't know how,
Yeah.
but they are. So like obviously the ads they run are not enough to keep them fully afloat, you would assume based on that, but like holy shit, the number of ads on network TV that you have to sit and put up with, it's
Yeah.
insane. It's absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah. And you just have to ride it. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do. Very insane.
Like, oh my gosh. I remember joking that, for a 30-minute TV show, you're watching 10 minutes of commercials.
But
But
it's not a
like,
joke. It hasn't been a joke for a
I
very long time.
forget. Well, no, it's like, I watch an episode of something and I'm like, 22 minutes long. So this probably occupied a 30-minute time slot on TV. Like, but while I consciously know this, there's a huge part of me that just like doesn't remember that 10 minutes is 10 minutes. And that means that
Hmm.
every 5 minutes in the show, I'm watching like 2.5 minutes of ads.
Yep. Yep. And somehow like and then you go to like something like YouTube, right? Or like a streaming platform, and you're like, damn, that's really annoying that Hulu has ads every 10 minutes. Well,
In
Hulu has ads
fairness,
every 10 minutes and it's 2
In
minutes of
fairness, the
ads
ads
and
that
then
I
you're
get
back.
on Hulu, it's like it is 2 minutes of ads though, and it's the same 3 ads. I
That's true.
hate that. I hate that a lot.
Yeah.
But
It's always like I feel like my algorithm is scuffed for Hulu specifically.
on your ads or
Like
on your recs?
my ads.
Okay. Okay.
I feel like I get just a lot of like, hey, are you old?
Yo,
Here's
my
some
brother
old
has the same
medicine.
issue. No, he's like, yeah, apparently Hulu thinks that I am simultaneously a an old man who's a homeowner and suffers from erectile dysfunction, but also I have a brand new baby.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's just like,
I also get a lot of like heavily Republican ads, which I think is very
oh,
funny.
that's weird.
Like I
For
get
all the companies selling your fucking data, you
You
would
would
think that
think.
eventually someone would figure
You
out
would
who you
think.
are.
I mean, there's also there's obviously the joke of like, well, the algorithm, is based
The
on what you
algorithm
look at,
really
right?
knows. Yeah.
Like
Oh,
like
my
the
Twitter feed is
I
like that right now. It's all NFTs and Joe Rogan, and I'm like, please, I'm begging you. I liked tweets dunking on these things. I don't actually like NFTs or Joe Rogan. Please stop. Man,
I,
I was recommended a topic and it says fans of Joe Rogan also like, and the tweet that it was recommending was dunking on Joe, but it's like,
so good.
what do you mean fans of Joe Rogan? Every single person that like is tweeting that I have liked is like, hey, Joe Rogan actually is super problematic and there's other reasons other than his vaccine stance to not like him. And Twitter's just like, Noah, a fan of the Joe Rogan experience.
Yeah, I think no, and I think man, Joe Rogan fan.
I'm glad that you think that. Now, if you could keep programming Twitter for me, I'd appreciate it.
But yeah, it's really weird because I feel like for the most part the algorithm is unsettlingly on point. Like looking up things that I know I haven't looked up about but have like vaguely talked about, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. It is just listening to me. And then I'm like, you think I do
Mm-hmm.
exactly? You're advertising to me how such and such local politician is a crook and how I have to vote for the other guy, while also showing me aging skincare routines? Like, what do you
Like,
think I'm doing
yeah, there's
here?
definitely a part there where it's like, oh yeah, Dan. We know Dan. He's like, checks notes, 67.
Exactly, exactly. And I get it on some level, right? I get that I'm an old soul, whatever. Shut up.
You're not
Like,
that old. Not even by
not
a
that
long
old.
shot.
Not that old, and not that old in the areas that you're trying to focus on. I'm old because my bones hurt, not because my skin is saggy. Get out
Yeah.
of here.
It's like, oh my gosh.
It's wild.
It's one of those things where you hear a lot of people, and it's the same as like if we pay people more, then they're just going to replace them with robots. But like every time they've tried to do that, the robots just keep breaking, and it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
work. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same with the algorithm and people talking about, oh, the AI is going to take over everything, and it's like, how? How is the algorithm going to do that when it thinks that I'm trying to shop for anime Blu-ray box sets on Amazon when I have never bought an anime Blu-ray box set on Amazon? I have exclusively bought like regular life things and 4 manga books ever. Like, yeah, that's a step in the direction. I'm not going to pretend it's not. But it
No,
put
but
together me
also,
buying Way of the House Husband and exclusively horror Blu-rays, and it's like, "Oh yeah, this guy wants some anime." It's like I'll get bump notifications on my phone and it's just like, we found a deal that you might like. And I click on it and it's 10% off a $200 box set. And I'm like, no, what? No, this is a magical girl anime. That's not my thing. And it's like, we thought you would like it. And it's like, no.
it's it's very good. It's very good. It's very very cursed. It's
Well, so
also
cursed.
it really what I was gonna sorry, circling back to the ad thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting even in something like YouTube, right? If I'm watching a 30-minute video on YouTube, right? I watch a lot of longer form YouTube content. 10 minutes is a pretty like short length video for me.
I would agree.
Uh I'm expecting probably an ad at the beginning and an ad at the end. And if the person is being particularly, hey, I need money, I'll accept a mid roll.
Yeah.
And
Man,
like
there's some
then you get
people
your
that put 10 mid rolls in their hour-long
I
video.
know. And that does happen, right? But
Mm-hmm.
also, for the most part, I'm watching 2 to 4 minutes of ad for every 10 to 20 minutes of YouTube. And that's assuming that I don't have my ad blocker on. Which,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're in 2022 and don't have an ad blocker, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Uh
And
I just
because Jackson's not here, I will play Jackson's advocate for you. Yeah, YouTubers need to make money,
of course.
and as such, ad blockers are shitty for them.
Of
Flip
course.
side, I watch most of my YouTube on my phone,
Mhm.
and I can't get an ad blocker on my phone. So when I happen to have something on my desktop, I don't feel that bad about it. But also, they do be getting paid anyway. The ads make them more money, but they also get paid for views and other things. So like it's not a full loss,
Well, and also
but
like
still.
it's much more valuable, I feel like, to be engaging with their like it's one of those things where if everyone ad blocks, then it's a problem.
Yeah. But
If
still
a certain
99% of
percentage of
people
people
don't.
exactly, if a certain percentage do, it's not a problem. Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird how much we complain about ads on certain platforms, and then you look at something like TV and go, "What the fuck?" Like Twitch. Twitch, you get what 2 minutes of ad, and then I don't know when the hell it triggers another ad automatically.
You trigger the ad.
You trigger the ad, but I know it can. I've had people like say, "Oh, weird, I got an ad and I didn't refresh or anything." So I've had it happen, but like other than that, like it just goes. It just goes. Like you sit and watch Twitch for 12 hours on the same streamer and see 5 minutes of ad, and then
Mhm.
whatever sidebar ads Twitch has these days. I don't know how. I don't even know, but it's weird. It's weird and it's very very interesting to me, and it's something that I'd be very curious to see how. It's almost like I almost wish I could peek behind the curtain of advertiser like marketing stuff because I feel like they got to be scrambling a little bit, right?
Mhm.
Like trying to figure out how to monetize this new era we find ourselves in.
I mean, I think that's
Um,
why, especially in YouTube, so many videos are directly sponsored,
that's
you
true.
know?
That makes sense. Yeah. Well, and I'm very curious about those too because like they have to be like they have to be working, but also have you ever bought something that was like
Yeah,
ad like what
I
did you
bought a
do?
couple things. It's It's only ever been things that I've already been interested in. Like my first Netflix thing, I signed up with somebody's code, you know?
That's true. And we've done Audible before. audibletrial.com/off the air.
Mm-hmm. I don't
That's
even know
fair.
if that's still active. I can't access our old thing to find out.
Our old what? Wait, hold on. What?
Our what do you call our admin page? So I actually don't know if that link is still active.
Really funny.
But oh well.
It's
But
very,
anyway,
very
yeah,
funny.
I got Shudder based on that. That's
Mm-hmm.
it's basically horror movie Netflix.
Woohoo! Shudder, I've heard, is very, very worth it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's really
Oh,
good.
you know what? That's not true. You know, Michelle and I do Hunt a Killer now, which we did do because of people advertising it. So I guess it does work then. But still, that's one ad out of the millions we've seen. I'm wondering, like, how worth it is it?
I know a lot of people sign up for like the food boxes and stuff.
That makes sense.
You know, that I get that. I don't know, there's a whole bunch of stuff like that where it's I get it, you
I
know.
get it, but I'm very curious, like, what the rate is. Like, how do they make that worth? Because, like, I don't know. It's just very interesting.
Well, I mean,
it's like very, very interesting.
If you're gonna, let's say a video gets 100,000 views.
Yeah.
If 10% of those people engage with an ad,
Even 1%.
exactly, like that's still 1,000 people.
Yeah.
So
that's fair. I wonder if that statistic is findable. Hold on. What percent of people engage with an ad?
I'm very interested to hear because I feel like it would be like reasonably high.
I feel like it's got to be really low.
Or not reasonably high, reasonably low, but like higher than not.
Wild. I'm scrolling through. It's interesting because I'm looking through this. There's a lot of people saying, like, here are YouTube stats for like how to do marketing, and like here's why you should use YouTube and Google's marketing platform, because of course I am, because I'm using Google to search for it.
Mm-hmm.
Really 1 in 3. Well, you know what, I mean, that honestly is part of it. Just scrolling through just a random like statistics site, YouTube's audience, 1 in 3 baby boomers go on YouTube to learn more about a product or service. More than 70% of YouTube content is watched on mobile devices, so that explains where we get that explains the ad money.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That's super fascinating to me. I would love to learn and figure out how the fuck marketing works, because it's such an interesting idea to me, and like it's so alien how like it actually like how to read
a lot of it
and process
very much feels like they're making up imaginary numbers to sell you imaginary money, doesn't it?
Right. And like it's interesting. So without going into what my company does, like the company I work for right now, like our big selling point for a lot of what we do is our analytic services, right? And like that is like anyone can do what we do as far as like a hosting platform, but like our big selling point is our analytic services. And it's very curious to me that like especially in like the TV space, it is literally just made up numbers, right? Like you can't
I've always wondered how TV ratings work, because people talk about ratings all the time for stuff, and it's just like,
my understanding is that they literally used to do cold calling. I don't know how the fuck it works now. I'm sure there's like online surveys and shit, but like my understanding is it used to be cold calls, which is batshit insane.
I can't imagine living like that.
Can you imagine getting a call and being like, "Hey, what TV shows do you watch?"
I feel like my parents used to do that.
Used to make calls or get calls?
Get calls.
I wonder if like there's a way to. I'm sure that.
Oh, Nielsen, the Nielsen ratings. Yeah, they're the ones who used to do it.
Yeah, super interesting to me, and I wish that I could begin to understand it better, because it is so fascinating and such a alien idea. But it also, I feel like, is so important to understand. Like it's one of those things that like, yeah, I don't understand it right now, but I probably should, right? Like that feels like an important thing.
Unrelated but related to analytiks. I figured I would pop up our podcast analytics just because I'm interested, right? The episode where we name drop Joss Whedon, it's 90% more popular than any other episode we put out in the last month.
That's
which is, it's only really comparing our 5 most recent podcasts, but still. I'm looking at that and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Day 1 was 10 listens, and by the end of the week we were up to 25.
That feels right somehow, right? Everyone tunes into other people to figure out what they're being dunked on for.
Which is funny because we barely talked about the guy. And I think that's great, personally.
I mean, I'm here for not talking about Joss Whedon, to be clear.
Oh, 100%. 100%. The man sucks.
The man sucks so bad.
I would love to know what, because we have some random spikes where we get like heavy activity. March of 2021, we had this weird spike. June of 2021, and then there was over the last couple weeks, and I get those ones. But what happened what did we do in June? Nothing. Let's see. Let me read you the episodes. We have Talking Over Dan, 6 out of 10, which is, if memory serves, when you watched Cruella.
It is indeed.
We have Ocean Scary, which I don't remember what that one was about, other than me being afraid of the ocean. We have Be the Guy Who's Into Juicing. Couldn't tell you what that one's about. We
I don't know if I
have
was here for that one.
That Feeling When You Record a Day Late. None of that sounds special to me.
Nope.
Biggest Muppet Red Flag. Okay, that could have been our March hit. No, I'm sorry. No, our March hit was after I'm a Blart Head. That and talking about breakfast foods were our peak in March. I'm a Blart Head? Are you fucking kidding me? I forgot that we talked about Paul Blart.
I feel like you know what would be a really fun like experiment to try and do? To try and make the most like AdWord analytic friendly, maybe not podcast, but piece of media. Like I wouldn't have the energy to put that much work in, to be honest. But like I really love the idea of like trying to make a podcast with the express purpose of this will hit analytics and this will get like consistent viewership solely because of that. Like it's a very, I don't know, it's a very interesting idea to me. I don't know how you'd even begin to do that. You'd have to have enough knowledge of like what the analytic trends are already. And honestly, you'd almost have to be like a BuzzFeed, but in podcast form, right?
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, I don't want that.
Oh, I don't want to do it. I'm just interested as a thought experiment more than anything else. I don't know, just very, very much something I'd be curious in. Curious to see how it goes.
Could be something.
Could be something, or it could be nothing.
Most likely, it would be nothing.
It's probably nothing. It's nothing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very, very curious about a lot of these things.
I'd love to learn more about that, but also I don't want to be connected to anyone that knows about it to tell me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. No, I get you.
Because there's a difference between wanting to learn about it, but being the guy who knows all about how to make marketing tick. And while I would love to know how to make marketing tick, I can't bring myself to learn from someone who knows, because that's going to be
the worst. Just the most unsufferable person.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you 100%. And I don't know. It's something that like I feel like a lot of like that part of it, right? You probably could. That's one of those things that I feel like you could probably teach yourself. Like giving yourself enough time and enough like information, you absolutely could teach yourself how to do that. I don't know if you'd want to. I'd almost rather someone just tell me, hey, here are the things you have to do to make your shit work.
Mood.
Like, I don't want to have to, dude, that's a lot. That's a lot. I don't want to deal with that.
I teach myself to do enough things. I don't need to do it again. I'm done learning.
I've had a hard time reteaching myself how to do things lately.
I get that. I don't know. There's something about actively learning new things that is a lot more stressful to me than it should be.
Yeah, I feel that.
Because I love learning new things. I love learning new things a lot. But I don't know why I can't focus on learning new things like I want to. You know what I mean?
Hey, buddy, I have bad news for you.
Yeah, shut up, adult onset ADHD. Mind your business.
Hey, buddy. Let me tell you. Turns chair around, sits down. So you're having trouble focusing. Let me tell you about a little friend of mine. Okay, not a friend of mine. Let me tell you about a little disorder of mine.
Is it called brain no work disease?
It's called brain no work disease. Oh, I'm glad you're acquainted.
I am slightly acquainted, yeah. Kind of sucks.
It's one of those things where I truly do. I wish, because I'm with you in the same boat. I really wish that I had like more. I wish I was easier to focus on the things that I actually want to focus on instead of doing things like a 4-day long Dying Light stream.
Hey, sometimes that's fun. Sometimes that's fun,
and I'm enjoying it a lot. It also there's a part of me that is like, I could have done a lot in those 4 days. Do I regret it? No, but it is just something that I'm aware of. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. It's. I mean, I'm not gonna say that that's what it is, but I am gonna say that it is very difficult to like force yourself to learn something new. Especially, I feel like the older we get, obviously, right? But I hate using age as an excuse, right? Because I hate the like, oh, it's easier to do whatever when you're young. It's really hard to do when you're older. Because I don't think that's necessarily true, right? It is, yes, easier, but like you can still do it when you're older, right? I've been teaching, well, not teaching myself, I've been duolinguing my way through Italian for the last like 2 months, 3 months now. And like, yeah, would it have been faster to learn if I was 10? Yeah, probably. But like, I'm still doing it. I'm not
Mhm.
going to let like the fact that my brain is quite literally not as plastic as it used to be get in the way of like doing the things that I want to do. What I will like get in the way of doing things I want to do is crippling depression.
You know what? I think if anything's going to get in your way, there's not much you can do about that one versus
I
other
think
things.
listen, if there's going to be one thing that stops me, it's myself.
Worse things could happen.
That's what they were trying to tell us as kids. They weren't trying to tell you you just have to believe in yourself. They were trying to tell us that you have to beat yourself. Defeat yourself even. I don't know. I've had a hard time because I've told you, I've talked about it on the podcast before that I've been like slowly over the last like 2 years maybe now poking at like trying to reteach myself piano. And every time I sit down to do it for like, I'll sit down, I'll work on it for a week, and then I'll be like, this is not a thing I want to do tonight, and then I won't go back to it for 2 months. Fun fact, speaking of mental illness, that is did you, I don't know if they told you when you were, I don't know if they told you rather, I don't know why they didn't tell me that like it's not only, hold on, I don't know why they didn't tell me that like the two big things that like are like side effects of ADHD and like dealing with all that is one, the memory loss, which I know that like I think we've talked about that on the podcast before as a bit, but like it is a real thing and it's insane. And two, the habit forming is not something that I really anticipate. I mean, in thinking about it, obviously it makes sense, right? But when you're like looking at symptoms and stuff and like, okay, hard trouble focusing, yada yada. One of the things that's like way down at the very bottom is like inability or high difficulty in forming habits, which does make like forcing yourself to learn things really difficult because you can't just sit there in front of a piano and press your brain at it for 6 hours. It's not how it works. You have to do it over time. And yet here I am.
Sucks.
It sucks so bad. It sucks so bad.
But Dan, hear me out.
What's up?
Have you considered just trying to make better healthy habits and maybe journaling?
I have actually.
Maybe
and
a
then
juice
I gave
cleanse.
Up. And then you know what? I did try doing that for a while, and you know what? It was really hard to form that habit too. Do you know how hard it is to do better for yourself when you can't physically do better for yourself?
Man, the only habit that I've like been trying to make that I've actually been keeping up with is I've just been doing like some daily push-ups, but that has not been treating me well because I've been, unemployed for a hot minute. I've been playing more video games and it has caused my wrist to hurt a lot.
Oh, that's fun.
In fact.
Oh yeah, dude, you need a brace.
Yeah, so I can't do normal push-ups. I have to do those stupid jock boy fist push-ups.
Yeah, dude, getting swole.
And all I can think about is a former acquaintance of mine. We'll call him Matt. And he was talking about doing push-ups on boards. He's like, yeah, do push-ups on your fists. And it helps make your knuckle calluses better. So I figure if I do fist push-ups on a board, it'll make my calluses build even quicker so I can punch people without feeling it kind of thing. And it's like, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
Even then, I thought he was a cringy, overdramatic bitch about stuff like that.
Well, I got good news for you. He was, in fact, that.
It's nice to know, like, to have the proof, like, oh, cool. It wasn't just me at any point. It was always him. Nice. Cool. Love to see it. Hate to see it.
You'll love to not see it, actually.
Frustrating. But yeah, so fist push-ups, they're not as terrible as I thought they'd be, but they are hard to get like down the full way. So that blows.
That's fair. I don't know. I keep trying to like be more consistent about like my health, and it's hard, man. It's hard.
I haven't had any energy drinks since the first week of January.
Dude,
That's been nice.
I had 2 Red Bulls this week, so that's not fair. But when I'm working from home, I don't have a unlimited supply of Red Bulls in front of me. I've been really good about it. I haven't bought an energy drink in a very long time.
Congratulations.
Slowly but surely, dude. We're gonna make it. We're gonna not be dead, or slightly less dead, I guess.
I mean, I've been guzzling tea, which has been pretty great too. So
I really should get more into tea. I need to do that.
It's great. It's really nice. I had this hibiscus tea that was really fruity and tangy, quite nice. Pair it with a little bit of honey. It was just delightful.
That sounds tasty.
Now I ran out of that, but I also just like plain black tea. So Thanks Lord of the Ring, or not Lord of the Rings, fucking hell. Thanks Star Trek for making me interested in Earl Grey.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot. Understandable.
Exactly.
I feel like that's how
Man.
a lot of people like are.
A lot of people in my social circle got interested in tea because of that. I know that for sure.
Very funny. And honestly vaguely wholesome. Good job, Picard. You did it.
Anyway, though, thanks for listening this week. I feel like this is a good time to wrap up, right?
That was
Would you
a
agree?
hard line end point, but I'm here for it. All right.
I don't know how else to end. You know, every now and then I feel like we ramp down to a nice normal ending. Other times it's like we kind of petered out maybe 15 minutes ago and then we managed to come back, but
really,
we're petering out again and it's like, well, maybe it is time to go. Maybe it is just time for us to like understand we have lived out our time and to leave.
Why does it make it sound like we're dying?
R.I.P. Dan. I'm gonna miss you.
I'm not. I'll finally be free.
I'm very glad that you'll be free. Follow the socials, links in the show notes.
Don't follow my socials.
Okay. Don't follow Dan, but follow the rest of the socials then, I guess. Oh, actually, no, this is a legit thing. This is a call to the community. How do you like those little video posts?
Oh my god.
Because I like them.
For what it's worth, from my
I think they're great.
Quite a bit. Not that you asked me, but I consider myself part of the community.
I was gonna ask you next because I think that they're neat. I like them.
They're very fun. It's literally like a Twitch clip,
and
but not.
I'm gonna run them for the next like few months anyway, regardless of if anyone hates them or not. I'm just curious. It's been fun to bring the little waveform back. Haven't done that in years, so you know it's cool
I do miss the old waveform.
So yeah, you know we got our YouTube shorts now in Twitter form. Yeah, you know, just let me know. I'm curious.
Inquiring minds, even. That's who really.
Inquiring minds like mine, no less.
No, I wouldn't go that. You know, all right.
Inquiring minds like mine want to know, Dan.
Okay, if you say somebody.
Commercials told me that.
Commercials told me that's how that works, and I would not be a liar.
Exactly.
All right, you guys. We'll see you next week.